Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Prototype. So before we start, let's take a good look around the city. Let's start with the Gentech building, because one thing I didn't show off a couple missions ago is this little addition to the building. This is where Elizabeth Green escaped, and you got thrown off of. It's an interesting feature, and you were actually able to look at that after her mission. Strangely enough, you're actually not able to look at it after this cutscene. It's actually not there, which is weird. Also, another thing to notice that you may have noticed if you watch the events video is, why are there taxis here all of a sudden in my special spot? But now this place is actually completely overrun with infected. As you remember from the last missions, this was completely military controlled. Interesting change of events. But now we head over to Williamsburg Bridge because we're going to be looking at the borders for bridge crossing and how they've changed. Because they've changed. It wasn't as much as now there's a blockade, now there is a guarded blockade. Nothing sanctioned gets off this island. If they do, they're going to be exploded. It doesn't matter if you come here as Alex or if you come here in a disguise, they will shoot at you because they are thinking you are trying to get off the bridge. And if you decide to go this way, you'll apparently hit loading screens and you'll also hit artillery strikes. Look at the amount of missiles that they shoot at you. This is a good way to just kind of kill yourself. But there's a better way that I'll be showing off later when it's more relevant. Strangely, the building is fine too. So, I guess they're just for organic people, not bridges. Which brings us back to the safe house. We're back here for the next mission instead of at Karen Parker's lab, which is odd because we should be handing in the glowy balls. But it's upgrade time! We're picking up 3 more upgrades for the next mission. Hopefully they'll be useful. First one is a new power, muscle mass. Muscle mass is pretty much a useful power overall. It just upgrades your strength, which is always something good, so usually you'll have it on most of the time. Our next one is going to be our first Devastator. The Ground Spike Graveyard Devastator, a pretty good Devastator. It involves using the same Ground Shatter button combination, but instead you have to be in critical mass mode in order to use it. Make spikes come out of the ground, same as a Claw Power. And of course, to round off Ground Shatter, we're going to get the Ground Shatter Drop. This will hopefully help us in the early game in order to get from high rooftops all the way to the ground, and do some damage to enemies right below us. Now, you may be wondering about all of these blue and red circles that have been around the map for a little while. Well, the game finally decides to tell you about what these things mean, because they are control points. The military and the infected both have their own control points in the game, blue and red circles. Blue are for military, where you can find military bases, a lot of military roaming around, tanks, and where you can destroy military bases, which will suppress strike teams for a little bit. And of course also upgrades, because upgrades are kind of handy if you're wanting to use more of the weapons. Red are for infected. This is where you're going to be finding the hunters, the infected roaming around, and also the hives, which you can also destroy. Destroying the hives means that usually the infection, the red circle will go away after you get rid of the wonderful hive. Now, if you ever see blue and red circles clashing against each other in order to make the pink purple wonderful, then you can go there and fight all the chaos, because the infected and military will be fighting against each other. So just add yourself into the equation and get ready for lots of fun. And yes, I'm pushing an air conditioner into the mission spot, just in order to tell you that you just need to be in the field of the mission start area to start it. This will also make the safe house more safe.
Where are they landing?
Southeast Manhattan, but the carrier, the USS Reagan, is supposed to remain off the southern coast. I wonder where those trucks are heading.
Wherever they're going, I'm betting McMullen is there. He did this to me, and I'm gonna find out why.
And then?
Then I'm gonna make sure he never does it to anyone else. Ever again.
Rifle platoons, you're in the field?
Shit. This is a fortress. Someone here knows McMullen, and they'll tell me everything they know.
I am a vigilante of justice. Anyway, welcome to Red Crown Command. This is going to be military control roughly for the rest of the game. And we need to get away inside, but our disguise at this point really doesn't help. Yeah, there are detectors everywhere around the perimeter of the command, so we're going to need to get rid of that and go after somebody to get a military disguise. Maybe somebody will be stupid enough to go alone and show up. Oh, hi, you. You are so helpful. Thank you.
Red Crown, this is Fire Team Echo. We have no visual. Over.
Yeah, viral detectors are back, and they're kind of annoying in the amount of range they have. They're actually a little outside of their designated circle on the minimap, so be a little bit more cautious about your distance. Let's take a look around. Hey guys, what's up?
Get some eyes on that. There. Move it.
Get some eyes. Check me out! Woo!
Take a close look over there. Forrest, you're up.
Am I Forrest? Because I have mad ups, so I'm totally up. That was bad. It was terrible. Yeah, so there are military everywhere, and I could just go around killing everybody, but really that's not the point of this mission. And kind of takes away from the time I have. Plus, not a lot of people really care.
He's in charge. He's the one I want.
And we want him, we do, because he is our next web of intrigue target for Sequence 4. Rather easy to get him, too.
We know Zeus has been spotted multiple times in this area. We're breaking out some new tech to pin him down.
This unmanned aerial vehicle can detect the virus at less than 10 parts per million in open air. With it, we should be able to box Zeus in and destroy it.
Well, that's not good.
Before they find Dana.
So what Alex just said is that we have to stop the military from finding Dana. Why is that for certain? Well, it actually doesn't explicitly say it, but it's implied, really. So the mission at this point is to go after all of the patrols here. And also the UAVs.
Where I am and where I've been. Don't think I'll do this safe house, and I can't let that happen.
There we go. Thank you, Alex. That's why we're trying to stop these patrols, because, well, they're going after places that we have been. Or where the virus has been, anyways. We have to stop them from finding those points. And, well, UAVs are kind of an annoying thing. They'll be here later, a lot later in the game. Now, the first thing about trying to get rid of these patrols is that welcome to the Hammer Fist not being good anymore about killing tanks. Look how long it is taking me in order to use the Hammer Fist in order to take out tanks. That is ridiculous. But of course, as the game progresses on, tanks are going to get more powerful, get better weapons, and be a bigger hassle. The quickest way of getting rid of these tanks and the patrol overall is by hijacking the tank. I also want to get rid of the strike team so they're not bothering me. There we go. Now we can go on to the next one. Alright, let's show off the muscle mass here. Muscle mass is very base, and in terms of consumption, they have very brutal animations. Like ripping each other, like, just ripping through people. Like, what can I say? We have super strength. Kinda works that way. Now, I was just about to use it, and he just puts his gun right in my face, and I can't. I was trying to use my devastate. The bus disappeared. This is turning into something really, really fun. And I'm about to die. That's no good. So, missile launchers are also a good way of doing it, but you're going to be getting through your entire clip in order to get them taken down. So again, go back to basics. Hijack the tank, because if you hijack the tank, you're killing all the people inside and taking the tank for yourself. What exploded? Oh well, let's try... Where are you, you rocket launcher little... There. Pick up the car from under you. For the next patrol, let's see about actually using the Devastator. Devastators are a bit annoying because it does take time to charge to get into the proper animation in order to use it. And if you get knocked out of it, you'll have to start that animation all over again. And most likely you'll run out of critical mass state. It's a pain in the butt. Come here, Scully, Scully, Scully. Oh, shush, you UAVs. They're worse than detectors, honestly. And here's the Devastator! And luckily for me, I totally got the tank. Amazing, but I want the tank. The really rolling tank, Jesus. Now, I find that even though I have the charge throw and I have muscle mass on, which also increases the strength, throwing objects at the tanks really doesn't do enough damage to be an actual good thing to use. Grenade launchers on the as well, but with grenade launchers having a lot of rounds, they're pretty good. They're pretty decent at doing a lot of damage at a relatively good pace.
Strike packages go. Repeat, package is go. Alpha Juliet has left comm. Stay on.
Another really annoying thing is that it's not only infantry that can call strike teams, but also people in tanks, and most likely you'll never know that it's actually calling it until it's too late. Now, we need more critical mass, and I'll take this hovering car to take care of the strike helicopter. See, that is what muscle mass and charge throw are supposed to do together. Destroy things in one hit. I don't know about you, but the UAVs are just really plasticky to me. Now, Devastators are not a one solution to everything sort of move. Like, you can see there that it barely did any damage to this tank. At least not in terms of what I was expecting. So let's just get rid of it with my huge hulking hands. Tank battle. There we go. However, now it's time for the fun one. Yeah, now we're dealing with close proximity here. We have the skull, which we have to take out in the distance, but we also have the other symbol over there, the crest shape, like shield shape with the cross in it. That is the area that we're supposed to protect. Maybe wasting time, but I want to make sure that I have enough critical mass in order to do a devastator, because it may come in handy. However, we're running out of time, because, yeah, you're under a strict time constraint in order to take this patrol down. About a minute. Let's use a ground shatter drop in order to try and do something, but it's better to use for infantry and not for tanks. It helps, though. But I just have no time. Like, I have 30 seconds to take down both these tanks, and hijacking is technically the quickest way of taking them down, in terms of the setup that I actually have. Alright, 15 seconds. Two seconds remaining! It's like I defused the bomb. Screw all you pedestrian people, you're all dying. Oh boy. I was afraid I had to start that over again.
Sweet team, we got positives in 3 other quadrants. Order is to RTV, regroup, and we'll redeploy to check them out.
Now, you would think that the mission would be over at this point, but it isn't. Which, in my opinion, it makes this mission take too long and outstay its welcome, because, well, I'll just say that this is the final stretch, because we have these 3 patrols in order to take down. The usual strategy is take down the closest one to the safe house, because eventually they'll all make their way over there. Just one will be faster than the other. This patrol is a bit different because I think it actually has a helicopter following it. It does! If anything, ground shatter and ground shatter drop will just kind of disorient the tank's movements, but it doesn't really help much. And there's a stupid plasticky UAV that can just detect anything and everything. These things they're just annoying. Because if you're in the vicinity, it's like an instant alert and they'll go after you. It's not a progressive thing. It's just almost instant. I'm gonna take this delivery truck with me to the next patrol. No strike. Alright, UAVs and more tanks. All these patrols are relatively the same, which is kind of disappointing, except for the one that actually had a helicopter with it. Prepare to be hugged. Ah.
Alpha Juliet has left comm. Stay on high alert and engage target on sight.
Alright, one more. Let's get some more goodies. There we go. Now, of all the powers, I'm deciding, and I've remembered to use the shield. Still forgetful. But I decided to see what kind of good with this last patrol that the claw power would actually do, specifically the ground spike, because I know that the claws will do absolutely nothing in terms of damage. Now you can actually see from this devastator that the tanks and other people will actually have evasive maneuvers to devastators, and the ground spike actually does some decent damage. The negative thing to using ground spike is that you're kind of at a standstill, so if there's other things in the area shooting at you, you are going to be taking some damage yourself, which is not good. But yeah, people will have evasive maneuvers in terms of your attack, especially when you're charging up. they will run away and make everything just kind of useless. And even though there is a strike team going, this patrol is destroyed and the mission is over. Screw that strike team. As I slide into victory. 2 events unlocked, and I have over 10,000 casualties of civilians. Feel pretty good. My goal is still a ways away, though, so I'll be working towards that. But this mission did up some things, but it felt not really placed very well. Because all of a sudden, oh no, the safe house. It should have kind of built up to that, I think. But at least it's building up to a bit more tense situations. So I'll see you next time, as we continue on with more missions. Where the heck is McMullen? See you next time, everyone.
Everything was getting worse. There were outbreaks across the city. There were hunters now, thanks to Green. Blackwatch quarantined the island. It became clear to me that McMullen, Gentek's director of research, had linked us all together. He worked for Blackwatch. He had studied Green. Karen and I had worked for him, you know, before. He knew who I was, and maybe what had happened to me. I thought, when I find McMullen, I find myself.
Well, what did he tell you?
McMullen? Lots of things. Some of them even true.
And then?
Then? Well, then he died.
Do you want the Smith-James collection? How about the Hayden collection? Well, come to Hair Salon for all of your hair needs. Right next to the general merchandise store. It's wonderful. You'd even sell Smith-James too at a much cheaper price. This moment brought to you by iPic Max Digital. This moment captured forever.